to talk more about inclusion, but well, for the sake of time, we're going to move on to a slightly more personal question, which is, it's very evident, from your family structure, talk about your grandparents, your parents, and even the way you've decided to kind of weave your career and life, that, you definitely don't care about, the normal way of living life or convention. Right? And, you chose to, you're single, be a single parent, adopt a child as well, 5 years ago. So how did you arrive at that whole decision? And what's that journey been like, being, a single mom of an adopted kid and managing a, a career, a big career at the same time as well?
So honestly, I think I'm blessed. If I had the chance to do it again, I would not change anything. Maybe I would have done it a bit earlier, but maybe not. I don't know. That's about the only question mark in my head. I'm going to redo, I suppose. I was actually, I think, a little depressed before I made the decision to adopt my son, because I kept thinking, I felt like my career and professional life was progressing. Things were happening. And, it's not always about a promotion, but that things are happening and I am learning and challenging myself, because that drives me. That's my driving force. And I thought, that's going quite well, but there's really nothing moving in my personal life. I didn't have a boyfriend, no partner, really no plans to marry, no one interesting coming along. And I thought about it for a very long time, and I came to a conclusion that actually, if I died being single, it would be okay. Maybe it would have been nice to have a partner, but not the end of the world. But if I died without being a mother, I would really regret it. So I thought, well, I guess I got to do something about it. So I thought about it for a while, and I thought, it's not a life journey that my parents would choose for me. Obviously, I guess most parents are still in the same space of wanting your children to get married, have children, all of that, and have a stable existence, right? So I thought I'd try and make it a bit easier on them. I did consider surrogacy for a while, but then I thought maybe adoption is easier. And then I said, okay, I'm happy to adopt. And I will say that it was not their plan for me. And I don't think they were very happy about it. But I think they were generous enough and kind enough to say, really think about it, and this is what you want to do, then I will support you. And again, I remember thinking, it's not going to be possible. I mean, if they're so against it, they're not going to help me, they're not going to be on my side. It's completely stupid in retrospect. And it teaches you something, I think, about being a parent. No matter how much you disagree with your children, at the end of the day, they're your children, you want to make it work. So you put the effort to make it work. So I have to say they have been very supportive. I think the universe has been very supportive, and I feel rewarded every day for my choices. I kept thinking there will be people I will meet who will tell me, what are you doing? Family, extended family, colleagues, nobody, and I am not kidding, not one person, to my utter surprise, has ever said to me anything about this decision. Nothing. And a part of me thinks this is pure luck, but another part of me thinks maybe some part of it is also just when you are so sure about what you want to do and that this is your life path, really no one else has a place, and maybe they get it. So a part of me thinks I was unfair to everyone, because if I would not react in this way with others, why would I expect that others would react that way with me? So I've been very lucky, I think, in the decision itself. And I also feel like it was meant to be, because I adopted my son in the days before the online adoption process came. So it's now very long. You have a really long wait. I know people who ended up waiting 3 years before they could adopt their children. But I waited for 3 months and I brought my son home. And it was really, I had 1 week's notice to bring him home. And I thought, I can't believe this. Because it's one thing to know you've decided, but it's another thing to have a baby that you're bringing home in 6 days. And I remember every day of those 6 days, I called my sister and I said, I don't know, is this the right decision? Am I doing the right thing? And she would say, yeah, you've thought this through. It's going to be hard, but you work it out. And I would say, no, but will I love this child as much as I love my niece, her daughter, right? And she would say, look, it's a helpless baby. It's going to depend on you for everything. 99.99%, of course you will love it. And I thought, 100% nahi bola. Oh, I don't know if this is the right thing. So I completely freaked. And but honestly, best thing I've ever done. I have never been happier with myself. So best thing I've done, I'm blessed. I have to say, at the time this general counsel job came up, my son was 1 year old. And I thought, this is a very bad idea. I'm not going to be able to do it. And as you may have realized by now, I'm usually quite a decisive person. It doesn't take me too long to say yes or no, and I usually stick to it. But I I thought, yeah, I'll do it. I'll put my hand up for the role. And then I thought, no, I don't think this is a great idea. It's going to be really hard. It's going to be a lot of work. He's so small. And then eventually I decided every time opportunity is knocked on the door, I've opened it. So have courage and open it and you will not regret it. So I opened the door and I said, I'm interested. And of course, different hoops to jump through and other people have to believe you can do the job. And I think I got lucky. Stars were aligned. Right place at the right time. So I got the job. But honestly, taking this role was like a free fall without a parachute, really, like a free fall without parachute. I had no idea what I was doing half the time, and we had to learn as we went because we were in a difficult corporate battle with our ex-promoter. And really, we had to figure it out as we went along. And it was a huge learning about the law, huge learning about people, about how to handle difficult conversations, change, how to stand for the right thing, but do it in a way that is sensitive and can get you to the right outcome and not just annoy people and lose them along the way. And I'm not fully there yet, but it was huge. I mean, I remember days when I was putting my son to sleep with a laptop on my lap, table lamp on, thinking, don't wake up. I need to send this document, don't wake up. So I've been very lucky. Those days are now long gone, luckily. Yeah, I can be in a different room and do my typing. I don't have to be in the same bed. But it was insane. I don't think I could have done it without the support of the people around me. And I think this is true for everyone. None of us are islands and we are neither successful nor failures by ourselves, I think. And for me, I think it was my parents, my sister, for sure. My colleagues at work. Actually, in the early days, I worked quite a bit with our law firm partners, and I was Platinum Partners and MLP, that's Mooncourt Law Partners, and they were brilliant. Available anytime, really my problems were their problems, and they were as involved in the whole drama as I was. So honestly, if I've never said it, a huge thanks to them. I don't think I would have survived this impact without them. So it helps. Sometimes things come together quite well.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to have the belief, and like you said, you've got to keep shouting out to the universe to keep guiding you and taking you down the right track.
I think so. I think if you follow the path the universe has for you, maybe it's just kind enough to make sure you're not falling over and smashing your nose. Yeah.
So we're already an hour gone. We're actually over time for the first part of our thing, but it's been beautiful talking to you. We're now going to hand you over to Tanisha. So you're going to be doing some amazing demo for us. And then she's going to take crack a whip and do the interrogation.
Okay. And I'm dreading both of these. Okay.
You might want a couple of shots in between this session. All right. So I'm going to hand you over to Tanisha. Tanisha, are you going to ask what her favorite drink is in the interrogation?
We could. No. Yeah.
All right.
We must.
Cool.
Actually, I can say the question. I'll tell you now.
So, right. I will see you later.
See you.
All right.
Okay, Mamta. So that was the first part of our chat show. We're now moving on to the second segment. It's called the demonstration round, as you've been made aware. While we talked about what you could possibly and potentially do for us today, which you will anyway do. When you were talking earlier, I realized with all this multi-jurisdiction living that you've done, you definitely can pull off an accent or two, right? You can definitely imitate a couple of accents.
My son is very good at it, but I'm hopeless. Sorry.
Really?
Yeah, I'm the most boring personality that you will ever have met. Like I told you.
We'll take your son up on the offer another time then. So what do you have for us today on the demonstration round?
So I decided to take your advice and talk to you about my favorite drink.
Okay.
And my favorite brand. And it is from Diageo's portfolio of brands. And it's a gin. It's called Tanqueray. Okay. And there is a base Tanqueray gin, London Dry, and then there is Tanqueray number 10. And I thought I'll tell you a little bit about both and tell you how to make my favorite drink with maybe 2 variations. Sure. For those of you who may want to do it differently.
Sure.
So Tanqueray London Dry, the thing about gin is, and this is what sets it apart from most other things, most other alcohol, at least for me, is that it is made with grain, but also botanicals. And that gives it a flavor, which is completely missing, I suppose, from other white spirits like vodka, because vodka is a flavorless liquid and it's spirit, but flavorless. Yeah. So Tanqueray London Dry has juniper, coriander seeds, angelica root, and licorice. And when you drink it, and it's not my favorite way to drink it neat. But if you do take a sip, you can tell a little bit about some of the flavors that the botanicals bring through for the product. And then there's Tanqueray. I should also tell you that Tanqueray London Dry has been voted as the first gin by all the bartenders in the world. So there is something about the gin that allows it to blend quite well with the different mixers that you add into it to make a cocktail. So the flavors come out really well because of the botanicals, I think.
So, sorry, quick question here. So every gin will have its own blend of botanicals.
Yes.
So like what you are doing with London Dry, maybe your other brands will be different.
Yes.
And then somebody else, under another label will do it very differently.
Pretty much.
Okay. Wow. That's
gin in 5 seconds. Love it. Okay. Then there's Tanqueray number 10, which is a small batch distillation. So it's not made as in as big a way as London Dry is. The reason it's called Tanqueray number 10 is because it's made in the number 10 still. That's why it's made in small batches, right? Because there are many stills in which, obviously, Charles Tanqueray, who's the one who originally made this gin, started to work in, which is this still that the Tanqueray number 10 product is made in. It's the only gin that is made from whole fresh fruits. It's got fresh oranges, limes, and grapefruit in it. So it tastes quite different from London Dry. And opinion is divided, certainly in Diageo, about whether Tanqueray is a better product or Tanqueray number 10 is a better product. I'm happy to say that I'm happy with both. I love them both. But my favorite Tanqueray nowadays actually has a few flavors also. There's Tanqueray Sevilla, which is made with Sevilla oranges. There's Tanqueray Rangpur, which is Rangpur limes. And my favorite, I think I have to say, is Tanqueray Sevilla. If you like the orange flavor, it comes out beautifully. It's made with chamomile flowers, grapefruit peel, and the orange sweetness. So it's really good, really good.
Sounds really good.
The best drink, my favorite drink, always ready to have it, is a gin and tonic.
Okay.
Very easy to make it. Obviously, you take a gin, small, large, whatever you want. Take a big copa kind of glass, the big glass with a long stem. Yeah. You first measure yourself the gin so that you know how much you're putting in.
Sure.
Pop it in. Add as much ice as you want. I am on ice girl, so I need my glass filled with ice. So that's the ice you want. Then you put the tonic in and use a good tonic. Nowadays you get many flavored tonics, and you will have to experiment to see what works best with the base gin that you're using. Right? So some flavors are really nice, some flavors don't go so well together. So you have to choose. But a plain tonic works as well. And add a slice of grapefruit if you have it. You can also add a few mint leaves. You can add a bit of lime if you want to cut the sweetness of the tonic. You can also add a slice of cucumber. They all work really well to make it very fresh. One of my friends has a variation to this by adding a little bit of Angostura bitters, which really gives a very interesting personality to the drink. So you can try that. Okay. And for people who don't like the sweetness of tonic, I have to say the Tanqueray and soda is a great combination as well. It takes a little bit of getting used to if you're used to drinking it with tonic and used to the sweetness, but it's a great combination. Or you can also do part tonic, part ginger ale. Super combination.
I was just going to ask you, what if you like it a little spicy? Because the citrus flavor is one, the sweetness is another. But like I personally really like spice in all my drinks. So then what would you like? You think like cinnamon and all will go, or no? That'll be a bit off.
You can try anything. To be honest, the best cocktail or the best drink or the best way to drink it is whatever works best for you. And this is what all the big whiskey drinkers say, right? Some say you should only drink it with, pure water from a lake. You should only drink it with ice. You should only drink it with plain water, or don't drink it with anything, or drink it as a cocktail, whatever. I mean, really, whatever works for you is the best way to drink it. So I think during the lockdown, my sister and I were experimenting a bit. Mm-hmm. The grapefruit flavor really works very well, I have to say. So if you can get a piece of fresh grapefruit, it may be hard in today's times, but if you can get that it really goes very well with the drink.
Okay. So is that?
I'm sorry, short and sweet, but I really could not think of anything else, and I wanted to spare you from my singing and dancing. So
this is good. No, if you wanted to still sing and dance, you're welcome to.
No.
Okay, thank you for sharing that very, very helpful recipe. Is that what you call it? Cocktail? Is it called a recipe formally though? Yeah. Okay. So recipe then, and also the suggestions. Like my mouth is watering. Not because I'm an alcoholic or anything, but because all the flavors and when they all fuse in together, it's just so nice, right?
Yeah, I think I'm ready for a gin and tonic as well. Now that you say it.
If we were in person, then, if we were doing this in person, we would be clinking our glasses.
Indeed.
No?
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you for that. Moving on to the next segment and the last for this chat show. It's called the interrogation. As you've been made aware, this is supposed to be quick, short, really witty. You are. There is absolutely no dearth of that. And you're absolutely a non-lawyer, like you, by your own admission. So just unleash that side, the high energy non-lawyer side. Okay. Are you ready? Super. Are you ready?
Yes.
Shall we do this?
Absolutely.
Okay. Your first question then, Mamta. What is your biggest learning from your leadership role as a GC? Just like your top one, just one.
I don't think you can be successful and achieve the outcomes we're aiming for unless you know how to work with people.
Unless you know how to work with people. Super. Okay, your next question then. 3 things no one told you in college about the practice of law.
Well, if I'm honest, I don't think anyone really spoke too much about the practice of law, but I suppose it's a job like any other, is what no one told me. And I suppose you bring to it whatever it is for you. So you make it or you don't make it. Okay. It's very reflective of your own personality, I think, for everyone.
Okay.
2 things.
2 things. Okay, your next question then. How has motherhood changed you as a professional? What impact has it had?
Just calmed the heck down. Many people have told me that. I was filled with this nervous, frenetic energy of what next, next. And I think I've calmed down a little bit.
Wow, so
people may disagree, but this is my calm version.
Okay, that is good to know. The next question then, what is that one difference you truly want to make to the world? At some point, you either made it or you want to make it.
So Diageo believes in this thing called purpose, and a leader, any person should know what their purpose is, because that really gets you engaged and brings out the best in you. Okay. And my purpose is twofold. It is doing my best in everything, no matter what it is. I will do my best, and always doing the right thing. So that's the change in the world. Anything that touches me, it will be with my best effort and with the effort to do it right always.
Wow, that's very powerful, Mamta. Okay, your next question then. What kind of a customer or client would you call yourself? So there are 4 categories as we understand it. There is dog, which is loyalty focused, cat, which is comfort focused, rat, which is price focused, and rabbit, which is convenience focused. So what kind are you?
Anisha.
You're a dog.
100%. I'm a dog.
Oh, this is on record where I'm calling you a dog. You're admitting you're a dog. If this were pulled out of context, it would sound so wrong, right? Okay, good to know that you're a dog. I hope all the law firms who potentially want to work with you or already work with you are listening. Okay, your next question then. What excuse do you find yourself using pretty often?
I forgot.
You forgot. Okay, that's a good one. I forgot. A safe one. Thank you. I'm going to use that. Okay. Your next question. You've said by your own admission that you're the queen of last minute. There was one thing that you did which was so last minute, it could have potentially become dangerous, or like it had become too risky.
So this is when I was in Singapore, and my sister had come. She was in Los Angeles, and she came to Singapore, spent a few days with me, and we were coming back to India to meet my parents.
Okay.
And she came from home with our bags to the office. We were on the 32nd floor, and I was just finishing up some last minute work. And I said, yeah, just 2 minutes, ruk ja. 2 minutes turned into 20 minutes. And then I was done. In the middle somewhere, I heard a bell, but I didn't pay too much attention. It was the fire alarm. And of course, the lifts wouldn't work. And we were like, shit, we called a cab. We had to climb down 32 floors with our bags and luggage. Then we didn't get a cab. Then finally we got a cab. Then I ended up calling a friend. We had 40 minutes left before the flight was going to go. And we had just left the town. And I remember calling this friend and saying, please, can you whammy it and make the plane late? I don't want to miss it. Look at the power of whammy. It actually happened. The flight was delayed by an hour, so we made it.
What luck.
Yeah,
what luck.
The odds.
The both of you with luggage actually went down 32 floors.
Yeah,
and I know how those Singapore high-rises can be. They can be very intimidating.
And I'm not ashamed to say my legs were shivering by the time I reached. I was like, oh, I need 2 minutes to chill.
Something made you go weak in the knees. Wow. Okay. That is super last minute. Thanks for sharing that. Your next question. One thing you've learned about yourself during lockdown.
I had this file in my head that I absolutely hate cooking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's correct. I don't dislike it as much as I think I dislike it. It's okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can deal with it.
You've been experimenting during lockdown.
I don't experiment, but I can cook.
You can.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, that's nice. The next one then. What would you do professionally if you weren't a lawyer?
Well, I said to somebody I was going to be an RJ if I was not a lawyer, and they laughed at me. I still maintain that it is my ideal second profession choice. I don't know if I would ever do it, but I would love it.
You would make a good one, I think. By the way, that was my dream job as well.
Really? Great minds, Tanisha.
Malishka, have you heard of Malishka from Bombay? Have you seen her or heard her?
Yes.
Yeah, she was like an idol that I grew up with.
She's good. She's good.
Very good. But now little bit she's, become boring. Like too much I've listened in, I think. So now I've had enough of her for a bit. Okay, but that's an interesting one actually, an RJ. Okay, your next question, what is your most visited website and why?
So I think it has to be Seattle Public Library. My sister has an account with Seattle Public Library, so I surf it quite often to look for books. It's great.
Oh, how nice. Okay. I thought you were going to say Diageo.
No, I'm sorry. Maybe I should have actually. Maybe this is career limiting, but no, that's the truth.
That's not the right answer. Okay. Then the next question is, what are you most likely to become famous for? If you're to become famous for something.
God, I don't think I will. I'm just being an average person, I think, like anyone else.
One attribute, or like it could be anything,
Just like the most direct person in a room, maybe. I don't know.
Direct person in a room. Okay, that's a good one. Okay, your next question. What is the most annoying question you get asked fairly regularly?
I'll tell you this one. It really gets my goat. So someone will say, so do you drink alcohol? And I'll say yes. And they'll be like, no, but you're vegetarian. How does that work?
Oh,
I mean.
I fully hear you because I'm vegetarian and I do drink occasionally.
There you go.
I completely hear you. There's another stereotype. Have you faced this one? You don't look like a vegetarian or you don't talk like a vegetarian. Have you ever got that?
No.
That's also quite funny. I get that, you don't look like a vegetarian. I'm like, how do vegetarians look? Please explain.
That would be your most annoying question. I mean, seriously, how dumb.
Yeah, quite. Okay, good. That's an interesting one. Okay, your next question. When anyone approaches you for help, what do they usually seek help for?
I think it's occupational hazard. Typically, it's a legal question. So.
Okay, so non-legal. If it's non-legal, like it's a family member, no law, legal issue. They're coming to you for help for something.
I can't remember the last time someone came to me for help. I'm usually the one asking, so I don't think so.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, the next question for you is: what is something you think people should do at least once in their lives?
They should take a walking holiday.
They should take a
walking holiday.
Walking holiday.
Yeah.
What help me look, I clearly am, my physical activity is fairly restrained. So what is a walking holiday, Mamta?
So at the risk of now expanding on what's meant to be a short answer, my sister and I do this thing. It's called the El Camino, which is in Spanish, the way. And it's meant to be a walk in North Spain from the east to the west. So it's a path that goes across all of Spain and ends in a city called Compostela, Santiago. It's meant to be a religious pilgrimage, but many people do it for other reasons. And obviously I did it because I thought, God, that sounds really cool. And basically you plot, the path is very easy. The scallop sign shows you where to go. And you just look around and you'll see the scallop sign pointing in that direction and you just go, right? There will be people along the way, villages, small guest houses. You don't have to book. You can just go in and stay for the night and it's quite cheap and cheerful. It's great. You can eat the local food and you just walk. You just walk to the next place and the next place and the next place. And there is something, I think, about having nothing around you except scenery, people that you don't really know, but you can be quite nice and happy and polite with, and just a very good friend or a relative that you care about as company. It clears your mind up.
How long does that last, this specific walking holiday?
So it takes about 6 weeks. We've done it in 2 stints. So the first time we did 3 days and the second time we did about 4 days. Okay, you will end with lots of blisters. So you got to be prepared, but it is the best thing ever.
Is it something you practice for? Like, do you need to practice for it? Not really. Okay.
You can plan how long you walk every day. So you can plan for 2 days, 3 days, 2 hours, 3 hours, 8 hours, whatever. So it's okay.
Completely open. So there's no like preset time limit or number of kilometers to be done. Okay, super. That's interesting. What is your most irrational fear?
I'm scared of water.
Of
I
water.
cannot put my head underwater. I find it very scary.
Okay, so you don't swim.
I pretend to kick my legs, but frankly, if my head goes in, I will panic 100%.
Okay, understood. Name one thing or person you take for granted the most.
I think it would have to be my mother.
Your mother.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Poor mothers, no?
A lot. I can see that now being a mother myself. And can I say it's quite annoying?
You're at the receiving end as well. So
exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Tell us 3 things about you that have largely not been known, thus far. It could just be habits, it could be preferences, just anything.
So random shit. Okay. I know I've learned horse riding and I like it. I'm not really, I'm a bit of an antisocial personality, though some people probably know it. People who know me know this. What is the third thing? I have a bit of a slightly weird habit. If I'm eating grapes, I need to eat even numbers. And so I can chew one on this side of my mouth and one on that side of my mouth. If you give me 3, no, absolutely unacceptable. But it only comes out in things that are eaten like this in 1s and 2s,
Is this applicable to cherries also then?
Yes, 100%.
and dates and cashews also?
Yeah,
wow.
It's weird. Yeah, it's really weird.
That's my favorite. Thank you for sharing that one. Okay, your next question then. If your life were a book, okay, what would your current chapter be titled?
Gosh, locked down and tired.
Oh. That is true. Okay. Your next question. The one thing people often think is true about you, but you know that it's absolutely untrue. Like it's a myth.
So people think I'm an extrovert. And actually that's completely untrue. I'm a very private and reserved person.
Yeah, even I would imagine you're an extrovert with just how you've been, interacting. Oh,
no, not. I have a social extrovert personality. That's it.
How nice. Like a cape that you put on.
Yeah, it comes from being, I think, a defense officer's kid. When people come home, you're called out and you kind of have to switch it on. Correct. And it has to be authentic. You can't, it can't be completely fraudulent. So
true.
I do it well.
Nice. How nice. Okay. An incident that makes you go, what was I thinking? Which you've done, something in the past that you've done, and you're like, wow, what was
saying
wrong?
Yes to Vikas to do the session with you. What was I thinking?
Okay. So that doesn't count. Aside of that doesn't count. Aside of that.
Actually, I would have to say my walking holiday, because inevitably on day 1, when my feet are full of blisters, my sister and I will look at each other and go, what were we thinking? This is too painful.
True. Sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Okay. What is your biggest mistake in the kitchen, since we spoke of cooking just a while ago?
So I tried my hand at gulab jamuns once. This is now 20 years ago, I think.
Okay.
And there was too much water in the dough, so I had to put it in the oil with spoon. And then I thought, kya farak padta hai? I'll put it in the chashni and everything will be okay. And then I ran out of sugar. The chashni wasn't sweet enough. I had to eat it because, of course, I couldn't throw any of it. I can't get myself to throw food. It was terrible. I've never eaten worse gulab jamun. It's my favorite dessert. It's bad.
But you completely ruined it, basically.
Completely ruined it. It was really bad.
Okay, that's a good one. And your last question, Mamta, now that you've been through the journey of Unsuited, who do you think you'd like to see on the show, or somebody you think will really enjoy doing this and you recommend them?
So I don't actually know. I don't have a name for you. I've been thinking about this, right? A part of me feels that absolutely Navneet Rishikeshan should be given this opportunity from Cisco, and I think that would be nice. And another part of me thinks maybe you want to find someone who does litigation, interesting litigation, and can talk to us a little bit about that. I think you need a different kind of personality to do that kind of work. Correct. So it might be nice to hear from them a little bit about their life experiences and perspectives.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Are we taking any questions from the audience, Vikas and team? If we have any questions, do we have time for them?
Yeah, I don't. We've not actually had any questions.
Okay.
Comments about, very intriguing and enjoyable chat.
Mamta, thank you. Thank you for being with us this evening and agreeing to do this, and for just generally being so entertaining, despite what you may think. You keep making the boring reference, but it's not been boring at all. And it's been really, really good getting to know so many different aspects to your personality, and also then learning along the way. Thank you for making the time. And we
It's
really
very kind of you. Thank you, Tanisha. Thank you, Vikas. Thanks,
been
everyone.
great having you. You have
I've got to go and try the Tanqueray because I generally have been drinking Hendrix. So,
oh, it's a good gin, but not better than Tanqueray.
No, that's what I've got to go and try that. I've got to go
Exactly.
switch now and convert.
Right. See you both.
Thank you.
Thanks,
You have a
Mamta.
good evening.
Bye.
Bye. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.